Hello, fourth graders. So today you are going to be taking a quiz. Remember that quizzes are in the blue packet and that you can't get help from classmates or parents on them. If you need help from me, you are always welcome to call, or we can set up a Zoom call so that I can help you, but this is for me to figure out how you are doing. So after you take this quiz, you'll be entering the grades into Google Forms, just like we have done in the past. But I wanted to just do a little bit of review before you take the quiz. These questions pretty much come directly off of the quiz. So if you are able to answer these or work through them with me, you should be golden for the quiz. So if it gives you some words and it asks you to write them as a decimal, what I would do first is write them as a fraction. You don't necessarily have to, but it might help you. So for 5/100ths, write it as a decimal. So I'm going to write out 5/100ths. Now, some of you might be thinking, Miss Vanderstel, I remember that my decimal goes there, my tenths are there, and my hundredths are there. So if I have 5/100ths, I would put that in the hundredths place, and I don't have any tenths. You're exactly right. That is your decimal, 0.05 5/100ths. What if it gives you the decimal and it asks you to write it as a fraction? Okay, well, we have 5/10ths and 6/100ths, or we have 56/100ths. Looks like this. 56/100ths. So it's just 56 out of 100. 56/100ths. We're going pretty fast through these. Which is bigger, 2.4 or 2.46? Okay, remember that for these, you look at that whole number first. Well, they both have 2. So I don't know yet which one's bigger, so I have to look at the decimals. So what's bigger, 0.4 or 0.46? So if we had 0.4, it would look like this. There's our 4/10ths, or 0.46, 4/10ths and 6/100ths. This one is definitely bigger. So when we write that out, we would write it like this. 2.46 is greater than 2.4. All right, I'm going to erase what we've done so far, and I have a final question at the bottom. If I can fit it in. All right, sorry, it's a little crooked, but which is bigger, 2 3/10ths or 2 2/5ths? Now, you might be thinking, oh, I can just look at the whole numbers. Okay, I don't know which one, so I'm going to look at the fractions. You'd be exactly right, but you can't really just look at those fractions and know which one is bigger. We need a common denominator. So we're trying to figure out, we can kind of ignore those 2's now because those are exactly the same, so we can't really use those to compare. So now we're trying to figure out which one is bigger, 3/10ths or 2/5ths. So we can't just compare them like this because they don't have the same denominator. So what we need to do is make sure they have a common denominator. One way that we've talked about is doing 10 times 5, so they both have the common denominator of 50. But I can tell you right now, this one would actually be pretty simple to turn into a 10. To turn that denominator into a 10, we would multiply by 2 over 2. Remember, you always multiply by, it has to have the same thing on the top and the bottom. 2 times 2 gives us 4, and 5 times 2 gives us 10. And now it's pretty clear to me that 4/10ths is bigger than 3/10ths. So to answer my original question for 2 3/10ths and 2 2/5ths, 2 2/5ths is bigger because it's technically 2 4/10ths. You could even write it here if you wanted to, 2 4/10ths, because 4/10ths was the same thing as 2/5ths. So if you followed along with that video, you are going to be just fine for the quiz, because trust me, each of those problems we just went through. It's just different numbers. But if you use the same method to do the quiz, you should be good. Okay, then one other thing you're going to be doing today is you will be doing an IXL skill. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that. All right, so, oh, it's actually not that one. Sorry guys, just give me 1 second. we're not doing that one. You're doing that one, equivalent decimals. Okay. So this is asking which decimal is equivalent to 0.14, which remember equivalent just means equal. Which one is equal to it? So if we have 0.14 or, 1/10 and 4/100, what is equal to it? Well, here we have just 0.4, so that's just 4/10, so it's not going to be that one. This one we have 0.14, 1/10 and 4/100. Even though there's a 0 there, that one is equivalent. But you have to look at all of them. Is 0.9? Nope. Is 0.4? No. So then you hit submit. Are 0.400 and 0.40 equivalent decimals? Well, they both have 4/10 and then they don't have any hundredths. That's why zeros are in those places. So you hit yes. All right, I'm going to jump a level for us. Are 8.2 and 8.0 equivalent decimals? So they both have 8 as their whole number, but this one has 2/10 and that one doesn't have any. So no, they're not equivalent. All right, I'm going to jump one more level. All right, do not be intimidated by the fact that it's giving you bigger numbers here. You're still going to do the same thing you've done in the past. Look at that whole number first. Is 510 the same as 501? Are they equal? No, 510 is not the same as 501. This one asks which decimal is equivalent to 57.5. So which one is equal? So it's not going to be 55 because that doesn't have the same whole number. This one does have the same whole number. Both have 57. And that one has 5/10 and that one has 5/10. So that one's definitely the same. That one is not, don't have the same whole number. That one is not, don't have the same whole number. All right, and that is it for our video today. Let me know if you have any questions.